What's up everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel in general. I'm Taylor, aka LittleTFitness, and today's video is going to be a quad and glute focused workout mixed in with some core. I will be also showing the warm up and cool down. So I know my last lower body workout was also quad and glute focused, and I'm doing it again. I promise I will do hamstring and glute, I promise. It's just lately when I've been going to the gym, it's been super busy at night, so I haven't been able to film, or like I don't feel comfortable filming because I feel like my tripod gets in everyone's way. And then today it was just less busy, so I was like, let's do it, even though it's the same muscle groups as last workout. It's a different program because it is June, June 16th? Middle of June, anyways. So my last May program lasted 6 weeks. My phases in general last anywhere, well, words are hard, anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks, so this is like on the longer end, but I did start a new program today, so I'm pretty excited to show you guys that. The only thing is when I was programming it, I thought this is a great idea, but it's gonna hurt. So we're gonna see if it actually just feels like pure violence when I'm doing it. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully you guys like this video. If you do, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Let's get into the gym. Let's do this workout. And if you're doing it with me, let me know how it goes. Comment below. And I can't wait. I can't wait to hit legs. I'm actually pretty pumped for legs today, and that's rare. Usually legs, I'm like, leg day, but here we go. Jumping right into this warm-up. This warm-up is gonna look relatively similar to my most recent YouTube video, just focused on a lower mobility warm-up routine, but we're gonna walk through it anyway. So starting first, we're gonna do our leg kicks from front to back, as well as from left to right, and then move into internal and external hip rotations. These ones are kind of rough. I'm not super focused on like a nice straight leg or anything like that. I'm just wanting to get my hips warmed up and kind of moving and grooving before I jump into some more stretches. After warming up our hips, we're gonna start with our hamstrings. These ones are called floor reaches or elephants. For this one, you want to make sure that that bent leg is loaded and that front leg is nice and straight. And for an extra stretch, we want to flex those toes towards our face and then aiming to sweep our fingertips just across the floor. Here, you just want to make sure that everything stays nice and consistent, and that again, you're feeling all of the stretch in that back hamstring. We're gonna warm up our squat form. So we're gonna start with an overhead squat and then just put our hands on the ground. Here I like to sit deep in my squat, just kind of move my weight from left to right, just kind of feel that stretch and feel the depth. And then I'm also gonna try to put my elbows on the ground. Now, depending on your mobility, elbows might not be possible, so you can always just keep your hands on your grounds or on your knees. And then right after, I go into a nice little hamstring stretch, a pike stretch or pike compression. Continuing into our ankle mobility, because I know the deep squat did hit that, we're just gonna do the opposite side and stretch out that front part of that ankle. So dancers and gymnasts, you guys know this one. This definitely helps with a nice pointed toe. The biggest thing here is we want to make sure that our ankle isn't caving outwards. We want to make sure everything's nice and stacked. For an extra stretch, we can go up on our tippy toe, but depending on your mobility, staying flat is just as good. Heading down to the floor, we're gonna do our lunge complex. This one, because I felt relatively warmed up from everything else I had done, was just very quickly. I just rocked back and forth between my front stretch as well as my hamstring stretch, really making sure that I'm getting a nice big stretch in my legs, flexing that front toe, and really loading my weight forward on that front lunge. Again, this is something that kind of varies with my leg days, but it is always incorporated, whether it's my front lunges, my side lunges, or something like a wall hip flexor stretch. It just depends on what area of my body is tighter is the one that I'm gonna primarily focus on when I do my lunge complex. Moving on to our first exercise, which is going to be front squats. First, we're going to do the setup. So I figured I would explain this a little bit for anyone who's new to front squats. Typically for front squats, we want the rack or the bar set around top of the chest or lower sternum. So for me, it had to be lower sternum just because I'm in an in-between height, where if I have it on the notch above, then it's too high and it's just more around shoulder height, which is better in my opinion for back squats. Front squats, the worst thing to do is to be struggling to put that weight back up onto the bar after doing a heavy set, especially because it's in that front rack position. So we don't want to be straining those wrists at the end of the front squat. In addition here, we also want to make sure the safeties are set at the right spot. So just making sure that when we're going down to squat, that there's enough room that we don't cut off our range of motion, but it's also relatively easy to bail. So typically I'll do a warm-up set just to make sure my setup is good. And then from there, we can start loading the bar. Now that our setup is perfect, we're gonna go into our working sets, but LOL, look at me. I thought that 135 felt way heavier than it actually was. For working sets here, we're gonna be doing 5 sets of 5, so a 5 by 5. We're gonna start off with 135 and then gradually increase the weight with each set. Now, major things here that I want to pay attention to is that my body is upright as I'm moving down, and then I'm hitting at least a parallel, and then my elbows also stay parallel. If the elbows drop or if your chest drops too much, that's going to feel a big strain in your low back, and the weight's going to pull you forward, potentially bailing you forward. So being upright is super essential when doing your front squats. Keeping our core tight and really driving through those heels and activating our glutes is going to help bring up that weight. Moving up in weight when it comes to front squats, I tend to do this a little bit more gradually, so I'll usually go up by 2.5 to 5 pounds compared to my back squat, which is around 5 to 10 pounds depending. This is simply just because with front squat, I don't want to go too aggressive, too fast, because again, I want to make sure my chest is staying upright. Now, major things to pay attention to, whether it is a front squat or a back squat, is I filmed it from the back so you guys could see. Going down and up, we want to make sure that we're loading both sides of our legs equally. So if you ever saw yourself shifting to the left or shifting to the right, that's something that you want to pay attention to and fix, because then way you're favoring, or you're knowing that you're favoring one side over the other. We want to make sure they're doing a nice equal push through both legs and driving up through both heels. We have our first superset on deck next. We're going to be doing heel elevated goblet squats, supersetted with DB alternating lunges. So the reason why the heels are elevated is because this is a quad focused workout, so this is going to put more pressure or more attention to the quads. We want to make sure that we're not fully locking out, so that way we have tension the entire time. Rep wise here, we're going for around 15 of the goblet squats, and then for the alternating lunges, anywhere between 10 to 12. So the weight here, because I was lazy, I got two 40-pound dumbbells, so I could use the 40 for the goblet squats and the two 40s for when I did my alternating lunges. In all honesty, looking back, I probably could have gone a little bit heavier and grabbed myself something more of like a 60 to a 70-pound dumbbell for those heel elevated goblet squats. Going into a form check, we're just going to take a look from the side. So a goblet hold is similar to a front squat because it is in the front. So we do want to make sure that that chest is staying upright and that we're loading through the glutes and keeping our core nice and tight so that we're not bending forwards. From the side view, you can definitely tell I'm not locking out, and that way you get more emphasis on the quads, and again, the tension stays there. Now for our lunges, looking from the side, we do want to make sure that we're hitting 90-90. Looking back at my form here, I do think I could have gone a little bit deeper in these lunges, but I think girl was tired, so that's probably why. But overall, we do want to make sure that back knee is coming a little lower. Mine is hovering a little bit too high. Here, we also want to make sure the dumbbells stay parallel. Now, I know when we get lazy, we tend to let them fall forward and slant, but try your best to keep them at a full parallel when you're holding them. Leg press is up next. We're going to be having our feet around midway through the platform, as well as just hip width apart. This is going to be more of the quad glute focused stance. Now, in terms of overall tempo, we do want to make sure it's nice and slow and controlled. One of the main things that I focus on while I'm pushing is, one, weight is through my heels, as well as that I'm tensing my leg muscles as I'm pushing. Total activation as well as mind muscle connection is super important when it comes to leg press. Even though it is isolated, you do want to have that added component. Now, in terms of knee position while we're pressing, we do want to make sure they're stacked right over our ankles and not caving inwards or winging too far out. For the leg press, I am doing sets of around 10 and making sure to really squeeze as I'm pushing. The weight here is just 3 plates. Now, sometimes I will go a little bit heavier, but because I did want to do a big focus on just squeezing, we did go a little bit lighter with the 3 plates. A complete burner for this next superset is going to be our leg extensions for 15 reps, supersetted with our Bulgarian lunges for 15 reps with only a 30-second rest for a total of 5 rounds. Now, my legs were literally shaking and burning after this workout, but it felt so good, so hopefully you guys do enjoy it. In terms of technique on our Bulgarian lunges, it is going to be more of a quad-focused Bulgarian lunge, so weight into that front leg and trying to get that back leg straight down. So if you're using a box, having the shin touch the box, or if you're using the pad on the leg extension, having that knee come right down below. Now, it comes to the leg extension portion, we do want to make sure that our toes are facing completely upwards. You can tell here I slightly am pigeon-toed, so ideally not looking like that. I just think my legs were very, very tired, so I'm going to give myself a small break. But at the top of each leg extension, we do want to squeeze the quads. That's going to be essential when it comes to that burning feeling. Heading back into the Bulgarian lunges, I wanted to get a front view because I did want to show you guys my knee. We want to make sure that our knee isn't caving forward and that we're not loading through either of our hips unequally. Everything is nice and straight, and we're keeping a nice fast tempo here so that way the quads are literally burning. Last exercise of this lower body portion. Now, this was supposed to be a barbell hip thrust or Smith machine hip thrust. However, that was busy. But if you're also someone who's more shy to do those things, you can definitely do what I did and sub in this seated abduction. Now, I know this machine on social media has been used a multitude of ways, whether you're standing up, leaning forward, standing the other way around, leaning forward, whatever it is, those ways are okay. And I won't necessarily say they're bad, but the way I'm doing it in this video, I'm telling you, it is the best glute activation that you're gonna feel. You wanna have your back nice and flat against that chair, sitting upright with your posture, and just focus on your glutes pushing out the weight, not your entire leg or body weight pushing out the weight, which is often what happens with the other variations. You're gonna see my weight here is relatively low. It's around 70 pounds, but because I'm just using my glutes, I feel it way more. Also on the way out, you really wanna tense your glute muscles as well, and that's gonna make a really big difference. Here for reps, we're going for 5 sets for 15 to 20 with only a 30-second break, and I'm telling you, my glutes, a great finisher, they were on fire. Time for the core portion of this workout. We're going to be starting off with a crunch variation that is oblique emphasized. We're going to be starting off with one leg bent at 90 degrees while the other one is straight and the opposite arm is coming up to reach for that leg. Major key points here is that we want to make sure our low back is staying flat the entire time and that leg is not making contact with the ground. For reps, we're going to be doing around 15 each side, and then in terms of tempo, just again, making sure it's nice and even. Now for all core work, regardless of what we're doing, we always want to focus on pulling the belly button in and upwards so we can get good core activation rather than letting our hip flexors kick it. Biggie smalls are next for a total of 20 reps. If you do want to make this one harder, you can do a full tuck jack, as a biggie small is just modified version. In terms of technique, we just want to make sure the back stays nice and flat and the legs are extending out straight, as well as the arms right overhead. The leg raise complex is next. This is going to be a total of 10 reps. We're going to be doing each leg once, followed by the full 2 legs together. Major key points here, again, keeping that low back nice and flat. Now, if you do have trouble doing this, you can put your hands under your bum to alleviate any low back strain or tension. We do want to make sure the legs are relatively straight. Mine are a little bit more relaxed here, but ideally, let's just always think straight legs, pointed toes throughout our core work, which will transition into more of our calisthenic movements as well. Next up, we got crunches, which is more of a top ab focused type workout. We're gonna be doing these for 20 reps, followed by just our single leg reverse crunches. This is gonna be more of our obliques as well as our lower abs. Major things here is we do wanna make sure that belly button is pulling in and upwards to get the best core activation possible through both exercises. Last but not least, we're doing an oblique V-snap. So we are gonna be balancing on one of our elbows while the other arm reaches up to meet the legs that are raising. Now, if you're on your left elbow, you're gonna feel it on your right side, and vice versa. If you're on your right elbow, you're gonna feel it on your left side. Again, we do wanna try to keep our legs as straight as possible throughout the movement and making sure that we're really contracting our core. Rep-wise, we're looking anywhere between 12 to 15 reps, and for this entire core circuit, you can do it anywhere between 3 to 5 rounds. Finishing off our workout, we're going to be doing our cool down. So my cool down is always full of static stretches and focusing on the muscle groups that we worked that day, as well as anything else that I feel just needs a little bit more attention. So first off, we're going to be starting off with pigeon because we did work quads and glutes. We're going to make sure to sit in each of these stretches for around 30 to 45 seconds. Moving on from our pigeon, we're going to be going into our downward dog and cobra. This is again just hamstrings as well as we just worked our core. So again, a nice big stretch there. After hitting our cobra, we're just going to go into a child's pose and then alternate back into a cobra. This is just to kind of get my spinal movement in. Again, this is just something that feels good post-workout that I like to add in during my cool downs. After this, we're going to head into my lunge complex, looking a little bit different than my beginning one. This one I'm kind of, again, just working on movements that feel good, so that T-spine, as well as those hip flexors and some overhead reaches. This again just helps me sit a little bit deeper into my stretches, and overall just feels good, opening everything up post-workout. Following that lunge complex, we're just going to hop into our butterfly stretch and then also into our squat, and then into a little bit of pike compression just to finish off the cool down to end with a little bit more of a hamstring stretch. But typically cool downs, they're really relaxed. It's honestly whatever makes your body feel good after your workout. That is it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Believe it or not, I had to fill up my water bottle throughout that workout. This is 64 ounces. This is so much water. I've been finding it's hard for me to keep up my water intake, and especially because it's summer here in Canada, I do want to make sure I'm staying hydrated and not get dehydrated. So I bought a new water bottle literally just off Amazon, and it's been helping me a lot because one, it's heavy. So when I'm lugging it around the gym, I want to drink more water so that way it's a little bit lighter for me to carry around. But also it just is a good tracker. If this is really full by 3-4 o'clock, I know I'm slacking. I gotta work because this is only 2 liters and I do want to be drinking around 3.5 to 4. So it's just a good gauge of how much I'm intaking for water. That really had nothing to do with my workout. I just wanted to share that little tidbit, little fun fact. But back to the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. It was a quad and glute focused. I will promise to film a hamstring and glute as well as another upper body video. Let me know in the comments if you want to see a full week of workouts. I know a lot of other creators do that. I just haven't figured out how to do that where it's not 4 hours long. You know what I mean? But Let me know if you want that in the comments. If you guys do try this workout, tag me on Instagram, TikTok, whatever you want. Comment below. Let me know how it goes. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, and I will see you guys next time. Enjoy the rest of your week. It's Thursday, so you have today and then Friday to absolutely crush it. Finish off the week strong. Not like that sentence. That sentence was not strong. Finish off the week strong, and then enjoy your weekend, and I will see you guys next time. Yeah, that's it. I never know how to close off my videos, but see you guys next time.